Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Just kind of a little bit of a life update. I know that you guys, if you've been watching my other videos, have seen the different sort of rants kind of going on about the situation I was in for the past 3 years with my soon-to-be ex-husband, and just kind of wanted to let you guys know what's going on. He actually filed for the divorce, which is fine. I want the same thing. The only problem is that he played a huge part in running up over $20,000 in debt in my name and refuses to take any kind of responsibility for that, and that's kind of where I'm hung up. And I don't know, the judge could possibly tell me suck it up because it's in my name, but I feel like that's a chance I'm willing to take. If they feel as though it's necessary for him to be responsible for part of that, then that would be fantastic. I did not work our entire marriage. He made it a point for quite a while before we got married to push me to quit my job, and we did. I sat down with my boss, and it was a bit of a mutual decision, and makes me a little sad now because I kind of miss it, but I did not work for our entire marriage, and that sort of became an issue for him. He kind of pushed me into it, don't work, and then I didn't work, and then with all the days that he would call out sick, I guess he realized, oh crap, we don't have the money that I want us to have because I don't know how to stay home instead of spending money all the time. So that kind of drove a wedge in between us. And quite frankly, from the beginning of our marriage, we weren't solid. I found out about 2 months after our wedding date that throughout the wedding planning process, and probably even after we got married, I don't really know how long it lasted. He was having, my hair's all crazy, you guys, sorry. He was having an affair with some chick he used to work with. She may have been someone he worked with at the time, I don't know. From what I could tell, used to be an ex. I just remember seeing the messages, him telling her how he missed her and her kids. And it just kind of threw me because here I was, had been with him for a while. We had got back together. We got together. We dated for about 6 months, and then he just kind of changed. And so I ended up leaving, and 4 months after that we got back together. And then a year after we got back together, we got married. So we had been back together for a year, and then a few months after the wedding I find this, and it just never was the same at that point. I loved him, and that didn't change, and he never apologized for it. He never tried to make me feel like it was a mistake. Just basically, yeah, it happened, get over it. And it just it didn't settle right with me. And what killed me is that he acted a little funny before I found the messages, and I asked him, had he been talking to or seeing someone else? And of course he flips his wig and tells me, no, you're the only woman in my life that I've ever, not even thought about cheating on, and I would never do that to you. And then I find these messages, and I just don't understand some people. Anyhow, so our marriage wasn't too solid, at least on his end. I did love him. I still took care of the house, and there were times that I didn't. I'm not gonna lie. We would argue about these stupidest shit, like irrelevant things, and if I didn't argue, that was an even bigger fight because, oh God, and if I got tired of just kind of fighting or having that tense feeling between us, and I'd go like lay on the couch or something at night, you know, he'd get pissy about that, and it was always him telling me, oh, you're cheating on me, you're cheating on me, you're cheating on me. And I never, not one time, cheated on him. I didn't talk to other men. I didn't, nothing. I mean, the only people that I had anything to do with were either family members or his buddies that were at the house when he was there, who were usually there with their wives, mind you. So, but it was crazy. It was a whirlwind of shit, and I don't know why I stayed so long. And right there at the end with the comments of, oh, well, you know, I don't know why I'm with you. I don't know, you know, I'd rather be at work. I'm never happy coming home to you. And, you know, I should have cheated on you. And just things like that, that just, you don't expect someone to say. And then when I found out he was messing around with someone else, someone new, and confronted him on his way to work, because I want to say the night prior, he left for something that should have taken 20 minutes, and was gone for 2 hours. Would not answer his phone, texted, but it doesn't take 2 hours to do that 20-minute errand, which was, I had cooked dinner that night and he just didn't want what I made, so he wanted to go and buy wings from Publix, and all he had to do was call them before he left, let them know what he wanted, drive there, drive home. Once he got there, they would be ready, and he could come right home, eat his dinner. But I remember he came back and I was kind of confronting him about that and asking questions, and it pissed him off. And he's sitting on the bed eating his wings, and I'm bawling my eyes out. And, you know, I'm like, I don't understand how you can sit there and, you know, just be so cold and distant and, you know, like, just pretend like you love me. And he just looked at me and just told me that I wasn't enough for him. So that next morning, when I found out that this girl has been on his Facebook page and liking everything that had just him or him and his kid, but there were, I mean, his profile picture was me and him, so she knew I was there. His profile said that we were married. There were several posts. We're always tagging each other, so she knew I was there. She knew what was going on. Anyways, I asked him about it. He said, oh, she's just a friend, and nothing, you know, has happened. But she was in his email after that, and was very ugly to me on a post about his Christmas, where she wanted to tell me that I was just jealous that she was friends with such an awesome person, and that I was basically pathetic. So, however, I am 100% glad that he couldn't even pretend to love me, because I probably would have stayed, and I probably would still be there now. And even though it's been difficult being away, not having that lifestyle of going and doing whenever we wanted and that sort of thing, doing fun things with the kids, I'm most definitely less stressed. I'm more happy. It's a lot better for my son than it was. He actually has a therapist that he sees who has mentioned on more than one occasion that that relationship, that person, I'm not sure the exact way to put it, but basically that situation was a little traumatizing for my son. And that's just not something that I can get over. I can't ever get past it. And, you know, I think to begin with, you know, people are just worried that, oh, well, you know, just in case you go back or whatever. And I will just continuously tell them, like, that's not an option. That will never be an option. And there were a lot of things. I had a surgery right after I left him, and then I had some kind of allergic reaction after that and was hospitalized. And even then, nearly put in the ICU, he was still texting, telling me, oh, I hope you die, I hope it's long and miserable, and calling me names and this and that. And the only thing he cared about was he wanted me to tell him that I was sorry and that I was just a liar, and admit that I took things out of the home that I didn't. And he was worried about the fact that he didn't get any Christmas presents from me. That was his big fight with that. Anyhow, I've not been able to work since leaving. Not a normal job. I do sell Avon. I do sell Color Street. I love doing both, which has been helpful in paying bills. Does not allow for much else. However, when he filed for divorce, I called the Volunteer Lawyers Program, who could not help me because when I left him, I moved in with my mother, and her home is paid off. So to them, the asset level was too high. So then I called another service here in town, and I am happy to say that I, as of last week, signed a contract with an attorney who is going to help me fight him. And I could not be happier that this is happening. I'm been super stressed about that and scared to death. You know, when with his schedule, he works 2, he's off 2, and then he works every other weekend. And I eventually got to the point where I couldn't remember what days he was working. And if I'm being completely and totally honest, it scares me because I don't want to see his vehicle in public. I don't want to see him in public. I don't want him to run me off the road or to see me somewhere and try to start something with me. Because prior to him filing for divorce, and probably what pushed him to actually file, was that he made several profiles and different emails. I believe there were 4 profiles on a website, and he has 3 emails, and he tried to contact me on all of them, and it took me a little finagling, but I was able to get the information that it was him, solid proof that his name, his credit card information, well, not all of it obviously, but that it was his credit card information, dates, times, and his IP addresses for each of those, and filed a police report for harassment, which I was told he, instead of being arrested, went in to pay, because once they do a warrant, you have to post bail. They arrest you and then you post bail, kind of deal. But in lieu of being arrested, he went in to pay that. And from what I was told, it was a admission of guilt, and that he now has a domestic violence and a 3rd degree charge on his record that will stick with him for the rest of his life. So that's where the being afraid that he'll do whatever. I mean, there are numerous times where he's done these crazy, god-awful things that, looking back now and even going back to, you know, grab all of the text messages and phone calls and phone recordings of him off of my old phone to my new phone for court, that I'm so dumbfounded at how blind I was to all of it. But here we are. I am 2 months away from our court date, and we have a status conference the week, a little more, about a week and a half before the actual court date, and we're supposed to mediate before that. I've not heard anything about mediation. His attorney refuses to respond to my emails, but now he doesn't have to. Now he can deal with my attorney, which I can't say enough how thankful I am that they were able to help me. And they were only able to help because of the domestic violence. And to be honest, there were a lot of things that I didn't consider to be domestic violence until they started asking the detailed questions they did during their interview process. And it brought up a lot of things. I ended up breaking down and crying, but it's a part of it. You know, you got all that emotion in there. It's got to come out sometime. However, just another upside to any of you ladies who are going through, or guys who are going through something similar, just know you can get out. And even if you aren't in a great financial situation, things can happen for you. You can get help, you can get out, you can fight back. And I just hope that you all do. And Feel free to leave any comments below if you are going through or have gone through something similar, or if you have any encouraging words. Yeah, so I guess I will update you guys again whenever this is all over and kind of let you guys know what happened. Or if anything big happens between now and then, let you guys know how that went. And wish me luck. See you guys next time.